evening, everybody. Please stay standing for the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Beautiful. Thank you to our senior choir officers for that rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. And now, to frame our graduation ceremony, you can sit. Our senior cello ensemble will play Leonard Cohen's iconic Hallelujah. If that doesn't make you tear up, I don't know what will. Thank you so much to the cello choir. Good evening, Dr. Shaps, members of the Board of Education, faculty members, and other guests, family members, alumni, and of course, the class of 2021. Before I begin my formal remarks, I would like us to stop and pause and soak in this glorious sight. Graduation ceremonies under any circumstances are memorable, but this year, it also feels miraculous. Students, from this vantage point, I can see each of your faces, faces of your loved ones, and of our faculty, who ushered you through 4 years of high school, and in the last 16 months, as we all learned to do school in an entirely new environment. Graduates, stand up. Look around, look around. Breathe deep, breathe deep. Feel the love, and now show your love to all of those who are gathered here to support you. Look around, look around, look around. Take it all in. Okay, let's begin. You can sit. In the chapter titled The Great War of the global history textbook you read in 10th grade is a tiny 2-paragraph insert, not part of the text, but one of those afterthoughts that the editors put into history books. The title of the insert is The Influenza Epidemic, and the second paragraph ends with this line: in the end, this global epidemic was more destructive than the war itself, killing 20 million people worldwide. In the American history textbook, written by Alan Brinkley, that was used in many of our US history classes, the Tulsa Massacre of 1921 is never mentioned by name. Rather, it is alluded to in the section titled A Society in Turmoil, in which the authors in one paragraph describe the violence that Black families experienced in the post-World War I era. Separated by 2 years, these events have something in common. As evidenced by the scant information in your textbooks, they were both largely forgotten and rarely spoken about. The pandemic of 1918-19 took place as World War I was coming to a conclusion. Men were buried around the world and remembered for their gallant bravery in fighting the Great War. Those who died from the flu did not fit into the noble narrative of personal sacrifice and nationalism. Instead, they were buried quietly, without glory, and became part of the forgotten. In the case of the over 300 men, women, and children who were murdered in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the families of the survivors never forgot, but those writing history books and newspaper articles of the time quickly changed the narrative to one of a race riot and not a massacre. This continued for almost a century. If the destruction of Black Wall Street was ever mentioned, it was done quietly in the homes of those who had witnessed this event. In 1986, upon receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, Elie Wiesel spoke eloquently about the burden and responsibility that comes with remembering. He said, "Of course, we could try to forget the past. Why not? Is it not natural for a human being to repress what causes him pain, what causes him shame? For us, forgetting was never an option. Remembering is a noble and necessary act. The call of memory, the call to memory, reaches us from the very dawn of history. No commandment figures so frequently, so insistently in the Bible. It is incumbent upon us to remember the good we have received and the evil we have suffered. Wiesel survived the death camps of Auschwitz and Buchenwald and made it his life mission to remember, bear witness, and speak up when he saw injustices in the world. Many of you have traveled far to get to this day. Some of you lost loved ones while journeying through your years in our district. Some have had family members who have suffered from COVID-19 and other illnesses. And a significant number of you took on responsibilities in your homes in order to help your families navigate this challenging time. What the entire class of 2021 has in common is that you have managed to graduate under extraordinarily challenging circumstances. And so the question is, what will you remember and hold on to? What will your children and grandchildren know about this period? Will you regale them with stories of learning via Zoom? Will you marvel that over 1,400 teenagers wore masks and kept 6 feet apart in order to successfully protect one another? Will you describe the fury of a nation that rose up in the midst of a deadly pandemic to express their outrage at the murder of yet another innocent Black man? Will you try mightily to recall what it meant to be in hybrid group A, B, or C? Will you explain the sacrifice that so many of our healthcare workers made in order to keep us safe? Will you bear witness to the horrific storming of our US Capitol and the fragility of our democracy? Will you recall how we longed to be together, to turn and talk, to sing, to dance, to create, to laugh, and to cry? Will you describe the shame we felt as lines at food pantries around the nation swelled, including the one right down the road from us? And will you recall that on this very field, you danced under the stars and sang and rejoiced as the sun set and hope returned? Each of us will surely want to bury some part of the past 16 months, but it is critical that we hold on to the memory of what this time has meant to us as individuals, a community, and a nation. Ultimately, it is my profound wish that from this period of dislocation, you will choose to remember. As Wiesel says, if anything can, it is memory that will save humanity. Thank you. I would like now to invite our salutatorian, Gabriella House, to speak to the graduating class.
Good evening, friends, family, teachers, and administrators. In any year, senior year puts a lot of focus on numbers. GPA, test scores, admission rates, the list goes on, you know it. But for our class, the class of 2021, our year was defined by unique numbers. We had a new set that was arguably much more important. We had our daily temperatures, COVID-19 positivity rates, vaccination rates, 6 feet and 10 days, for social distancing and quarantine. But then I went back to the school calendar and I did some counting. Ms. Valdez checked my math, but I believe that personally I was in the school building for more than 140 school days this year. And I think that that is the most important number of our entire school year. I remember starting this year feeling very skeptical, thinking hybrid learning is only gonna last 2 weeks. I said in-person school doesn't work in a pandemic, it can't. But the MHS community proved me wrong. I went to school, we did 33, 50, and finally 100%, and we made it work. That's impressive. I think I speak for the entire class when I say just how appreciative we are that Mamaroneck was able to make this happen, that everyone worked together to give the whole school their year back, but especially to give the senior class their year back. For 140 days, I had conversations with my peers that I'll hold on to for life. For 140 days, I learned invaluable lessons from each of my teachers. And for 140 days, I walked from Post to Palmer and back, and then I complained about walking from Post to Palmer and back. And in the middle of a global pandemic, MHS seniors did amazing things. Each of us got our future plans in order. The music department and PACE programs held online and in-person performances. Each of our sports teams had amazing seasons. The OSR students won awards. Our Okra students made invaluable impacts on our community. And if I tried to list every single amazing thing that we accomplished this year and every year prior, we'd be here a lot much longer than we want to be. So I'll leave you to recognize all that you've accomplished this year. Lastly, the honor of being salutatorian is a reflection of the amazing people I have in my corner. Mom, Dad, Thomas, thank you for the unlimited support and encouragement over my past 18 years of life and for the lessons, experiences, and jokes along the way. I cannot thank my peers and friends enough for making this past year and every prior year so amazing. Thank you, Ms. Klain, Dr. Shafts, the custodians, and the nurses for simply making this year and every year happen. And finally, I'm so grateful to every teacher I've had here, Madam Bridges, Dr. Nunes, Dr. Phil, Mr. Bosch, Mr. Hone, Dr. J, and Ms. Gellert, just to name a few. MHS, after one hell of a year, here's to a safe, healthy, and amazing future, and here's to the class of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Beautiful. I'm delighted to introduce Mr. Peter Green, social studies teacher, who has the honor of speaking to our senior class and the rest of you tonight. You want to move this?
So ends the longest school year of our lives. In duration, it was actually the shortest, but it was by far the most taxing of my 15-year teaching career. Teaching and learning in a crisis has that effect, and this class deserves hearty congratulations for doing something no senior class has done in 100 years. I hope all the graduates can take some time this summer and regroup mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, for the next challenge, for the next crisis. Because I hate to tell you this, your generation is fated to confront crisis. With this truth in mind, I plan to speak to you this evening honestly. Anything less would disrespect the honor of being asked to address the class of 2021. And the truth is, you were born into a crucible, a series of rolling crises that have rocked our country to the core. Most of you were born in 2003. You arrived in the post-9/11 world in which the USA was waging war in Afghanistan, a war that is still ongoing. The invasion of Iraq and all of its horrible costs and blood and treasure was beginning. As you entered kindergarten, the United States was plunged into the Great Recession. On the eve of full adulthood, our nation was rocked by twin crises, a once-a-century global pandemic, coupled with a racial justice reckoning that reached into every community, including ours. And then in the midst of your senior year, the highest official in our government baselessly denied the results of a free and fair election, while supporters stormed the very seat of that government on January 6th in an effort to violently uphold these claims. You, the class of 2021, have been seemingly destined to live in most interesting times. All of this under the looming crisis caused by climate change. As a history teacher, I have to make a historical comparison. Think of the class of 1921. What world were they inheriting? Well, the globe was in the final throes of a devastating pandemic, with as many as 20 million dead from the Spanish flu. The First World War just slaughtered a generation in a seemingly empty conflict while upending the prevailing global political order with no clear replacement. Extremist political movements were on the rise. The Bolsheviks consolidated power in Russia, fascist thugs attacked socialists and labor unions in Italy, under the auspices of a buffoonish but charismatic political leader. And right-wing militias, the vanguard of Nazism, ran rampant in Germany, often in connivance with the new democratic government. If I was an adult giving this speech to a graduating class in the early 1920s, I would apologize for the world we've given you. So as an adult, in 2021, I apologize to you now. Are all these crises my fault? Individually, no. But collectively, yes. In light of that, I think the adults of this country owe our young people a sincere apology for the baton that will pass to you in the coming years. Here's why. My grandmother, she's 86, recently confided in me her deep anxiety about the state of our nation. She said, even during the Cuban Missile Crisis, she never doubted that John Kennedy and his brain trust of smart young advisors would find a path forward to peace and coexistence. My grandmother trusted that their wisdom and foresight would see our nation through. She was never afraid. Can anyone here in front of me today imagine such confidence in today's elites? It's almost laughable to think so, and one would be rightly mocked for expressing a sentiment similar to my grandmother's blind confidence in Jack Kennedy, given the litany of failures, crises, and failed responses to crises you have witnessed in your brief lives. Franklin Roosevelt, facing a similarly intractable crisis in 1933, stated, "Only a foolish optimist can deny the dark realities of the moment." Most young people, even the most rebellious teen, basically believe adults know everything. They're in disbelief when I tell them I'm not sure if it will be a snow day tomorrow. They're certain it was all decided at our secret daily adult meeting, at which all adulting matters are settled. But I think one thing the pandemic did was shatter forever the notion in the minds of young people that adults have all the answers. Most of our answers were, I'm not sure. We have the benefit of experience, sure, but oftentimes many of us are just doing the best we can, sometimes making it up as we go along, buffeted by crises outside of our control. And in response to all these crises, the number one thing adults have asked young people to do is settle. Settle for less. Take half a loaf. Something's better than nothing, we say. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. COVID accelerated this demand to settle as so many rites of passage associated with adolescence were modified to comply with often changing state regulations. In a broader sense, young people have to settle for putting off major life milestones like marriage and home buying because of the precarity of employment and the enormous costs of real estate. Settle for an unpaid internship till you're 27. Settle for a side hustle to achieve some solvency, all the while mocked by adults for supposedly spending your meager wages on lattes and avocado toast. Contempt for young people, their habits, and their entitlement is embraced with particular glee by older generations nowadays. Boomer Facebook is a breeding ground of derision for the youth, often in the form of cringeworthy top text, bottom text memes. Long posts on social media with a back in my day tone about how flipping burgers one summer paid their college tuition. Whether you're conscious of it or not, confronting this reality of the forever crisis, coupled with a failed but patronizing elite, must be exhausting. Like Hamlet returning home, you realize something is rotten, but can't quite put your finger on it. You're not sure which direction to go in, utterly disoriented. Or like that class of 1921, charter members of the lost generation, adrift in an uncertain world with little clarity on the next steps, while a series of failed leaders fiddle as the world burns. Both Hamlet and The Lost Generation were faced with perhaps the worst crisis of all. They couldn't imagine a positive future for themselves. It actually seems like our culture has given up on imagining a future at all, and if we do, it's a dystopia. Teen media is rife with these: The Hunger Games, the Divergent series, The 100. It was good, but went off the rails in the later seasons. All of these pieces of media have something in common: a young person confronted with the total corruption, indolence, or incompetence of adult elites. Or we seek to relive the past with a flurry of remakes and reboots of past glories, producing endless nostalgia pieces set in the 1980s. Every show and movie is turned into the Wonder Years or the Goldbergs, bottling nostalgia for the mass market. During the 1960s, imagining the future wasn't a problem. This time period rejected all past conventions and created an aesthetic that was supposed to be modern, youthful, and futuristic. Just think of the Jetsons. Our cultural elite now offers only what it knows it can sell. And for all you Mad Men fans in the audience, Don Draper can tell you, nostalgia sells nowadays. The message in culture and politics seems to be, revel in the past, the best we're ever going to get. Our last presidential campaign featured in many ways similar slogans: keep America great, build back better. Fundamentally, both are rooted in a desire to return or maintain normalcy. The same message that was peddled to that class of 1921 I keep referencing. These cultural and political trends mask one of the dark realities FDR referred to: the status quo, normalcy, is not working for a lot of people, especially young people. Roosevelt went on to say in his inaugural address, "Plenty is at our doorstep, but a generous use of its language is in the very sight of the supply. Primarily, this is because the rulers of the exchange of mankind's goods have failed, through their own stubbornness and their own incompetence, have admitted their failure and have abdicated. True, they have tried, but their efforts have been cast in the pattern of an outworn tradition. They only know the rules of a generation of self-seekers. They have no vision. When there is no vision, the people perish." My challenge to you, class of 2021, is to envision that future, to breathe a new life into failing institutions and discard those that don't work. Do not descend into the chase for individual gain, the outworn tradition of a generation of self-seekers condemned by Roosevelt. Instead, imagine a new future with new institutions that build all of us up, that leave nobody behind. Do not descend into the pessimism and paralysis that beset Hamlet and the Lost Generation when faced with the rotten state of the world they found. Roll up your sleeves and take on the challenge. Arrest this cycle of endless crisis by advancing new ideas, by confronting the corruption and decadence of those that sit in the high seats of our government, culture, and economy. You cannot do this alone. It's impossible. You can only do it through collective action, cooperation, collaboration. We have tried to foster that here at MHS. I know you can make a difference as a generation. We saw it last summer as you took to the streets across our country and across the world to confront the stains so long unconfronted of systemic racism and inequality. We see it in our community as groups of you organized to ameliorate significant issues in our area, from vacant storefronts to food waste. Our society seems to offer you two choices: pessimistic acceptance of an unjust status quo, or entry onto the dog-eat-dog escalator of cutthroat competition. Reject them both. Now, I've now spent this entire speech telling you how clueless adults are. Now take some advice from an adult. Nobody is coming to save us. There have been many pretenders to the crown of national savior of late, but our country's rejuvenation does not depend on one person, but on all of us. In this effort, you must lead, class of 2021. Lead not to an imagined past, awash in rose tint, but a future that builds a more inclusive America, conquering the sins of poverty, racism, and sexism. In order to accomplish this feat, it will be a major effort. I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. Common line on Twitter is, "The kids are all right. You are all right." Much like my grandmother put her faith in JFK, I put my faith in you. Economist Art Laffer, of Laffer Curve fame, recently said on a cable news station, young people aren't worth $15 an hour. He's right. You're worth so much more. But remember, you're stronger together, forging alliances based on common ground and common interests across generations and backgrounds. Join an organization, then join another. This country is calling for action and for action now, and you need to start it. They say that half of communication is nonverbal. So it's up to you to communicate with your actions to those adults in power that you are not willing to accept a mere return to normalcy. You've taken your lumps over the last 2 years. Now it's time to start dishing them out. Because your worth, your value, is not measured in material gain, but in your ability to respond to this age of crisis and make a collective difference. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you to Mr. Green. Gent Malushaga and Thomas Seward, President of our Student Council and Senior Class President, will now say a few words.
It's hard to describe what the class of 2021 has been through without using what Principal Klain recently dubbed the U word, unprecedented. It goes without saying that the tribulations this class has faced were entirely unprecedented. Zoom classes, the hybrid model, a one-way overpass traffic pattern, none of it was familiar. These new hurdles, coupled with the hallmark headaches of a normal senior year and the college process, made this year exceptionally tough. As a class, we navigated the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic with no example to follow. And yet, here we are. As our collective high school experience will no doubt be characterized by the unprecedented obstacles we faced, so too should it be by our unprecedented accomplishments. Before me sit section champions, all-state musicians, and national merit scholars, award-winning researchers, decorated debaters, students who have dedicated hundreds of hours to serving their community. This year's class accomplished more during a pandemic than could have been expected in a normal year.
And in what seems to be a common theme this year, our class adapted the traditional into the unconventional. What usually is senior prom was converted into a dance that we called Night Under the Stars here on this very field. The dance was a massive success, and I can speak for everyone there that it was a fantastic resolution to the year. I know everyone was hugely thankful to be singing, dancing, and celebrating together. There's been so much eagerness in the world to return to normal, but this grade was never normal, and every student here has always strived to improve themselves and their community, never settling for normal. So appropriately, our gift will go towards bettering the future of Mamaroneck High School. We're gifting our surplus funds to the class of 2023 to help them continue the legacy of Night Under the Stars, making school dances more enjoyable and more accessible for all members of the grade. Following such a difficult period of time, the students in this class have collectively brought a renaissance of spirit that will last far beyond our graduation and the classes to come. Thank you to all of the seniors for your determination, kindness, and everything that you've done to make these 4 years truly special and never normal.
Thomas and I want to thank Ms. Carol Scheffler and Mr. Matt Alonji, who as our student council advisors pushed us to reach new heights over the last 4 years. And on behalf of the entire class, I would like to say a huge thank you to all of the MHS teachers, guidance counselors, administrators, and faculty who made our time here as valuable as possible. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2021.
Thank you, Gent and Thomas. Only one award is given every year at graduation. Janet Knight, President of the Mamaroneck Teachers Association, will present that award tonight.
Good evening, members of the class of 2021. On behalf of all your teachers, I would like to express our sincere congratulations and best wishes to you. Tonight, I have the privilege of presenting the Boothby Award. This award commemorates Arthur Boothby, superintendent of Mamaroneck Schools from 1917 to 1941. It is presented by the Mamaroneck Teachers Association to the graduating senior who best exemplifies the ideals of public education. This is the only award presented at graduation. The Boothby winner is chosen by secret ballot of the high school faculty. The winner is one of the best-kept secrets at the high school. This year's winner is an outstanding student. She is a standout in all her classes, especially English, history, and Spanish. But it is her commitment to making her school and community a better place that sets her apart. She started the Intercambios program, which connected native and non-native Spanish speakers, giving them opportunities to converse and make new social connections and friendships. As a sophomore, she represented MHS at the Holocaust and Human Rights Education Center's Human Rights Institute, and she delivered a keynote speech at our town's Black Lives Matter March last June. When Shannon Turner Porter retired last year, she took over the leadership of the Martin Luther King Assembly. And if you haven't seen the video, you should. It was amazing. She helped to rebrand the Multicultural Club to be the Multicultural Student Union, and to think about how it could reach more students and address more needs, well beyond what could happen in any one club meeting or annual assembly. She created a website with resources for high school and college support, as well as other ways to get involved in the school and the larger community. She has been an important member of the Student Council for years, as well as captain of the varsity soccer team. The list of all that she has done to help the school and community seems endless. If the Boothby Award is meant to recognize a student who makes the most of the educational opportunities offered her and helps to make the school and community a better place for all, then there is no student more deserving than this year's winner. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to present the 2021 Boothby Award to Jacinta Smith.
Congratulations, Jacinta. I hope we got some good photos of that. I'm delighted now to welcome our valedictorian, Abigail Tucker, who will begin her remarks in one of the many languages she speaks, and that is going to be through playing the piano. She will then continue with some verbal remarks, so sit back and enjoy. Spring.
It is so wonderful to be here with all of you. Only a few weeks ago, I thought I'd have to give this speech twice. Yet here we all are, graduating together because of the tireless efforts of Dr. Shaps, the Board of Education, Ms. Klain and the assistant principals, teachers, custodians, nurses, campus supervisors, crossing guards, and all of the essential workers in our community. During our years together, we learned many things, some from others, such as teachers and peers, and some lessons we learned ourselves. The upperclassmen taught us that porter water is superior. From our arts teachers, we discovered how to expand our ability to express ourselves. We learned that a third grader can do 99% of calculus, at least according to Ms. Valdez. From our teammates, we saw what it really meant to give it your all. In gym class, we were taught how to make fires on 90-degree June days, and more importantly, we made s'mores to celebrate our success. From Liu 老师, 我们学了怎么打太极拳. And for those of you who didn't take Chinese, know that on top of learning the language, we learned many Tai Chi moves. Our amazing teachers showed us better ways to analyze, read, calculate, write, solve problems, experiment, and work together. The knowledge we gain from others will be valuable as we enter the next phase of our lives. But equally important are the lessons that we learned for ourselves. We learned how to innovate and come up with creative parking solutions when we overslept and couldn't find a spot and slot. Everyone in AP Gov mastered the art of coming up with a decent answer in 3 seconds when Mr. Liberti called on us while on Zoom. We realized how competitive our classmates could be every time our teacher started a game of Kahoot. We learned, not surprisingly, that fog machines set off fire alarms in the MHS production of Singing in the Rain. We navigated our way through the overpass to get from Palmer to Post and back again. We timed to the second how long it took us to roll out of bed and log on to our first period Zooms. We learned that, sadly, Grammarly doesn't always have the best suggestions. And as we go our separate ways, we will continue to gain information from others and also do our own thinking. We will use this information to grow, to change, to heal, to inspire, to create, to research, to teach, and to forge new paths. As we continue to discover and expand our knowledge, know to learn from others, but also know to learn from our own experiences. Sometimes as we learn, we will face uncertainty, but if we apply these lessons, we will be able to push through. Remember the advice Miss Rinaldi gave us in geometry: fake it till you make it. Congratulations to the MHS class of 2021. We made it.
Thank you, Abby. And now, Rena Beda, President of the Board of Education, is going to make a couple of remarks.
Good evening, everyone. This is my first time speaking at a graduation, so I decided to ask my son, a 2016 MHS graduate, for his advice. He is a reliable source of sarcasm, wit, and wisdom, and very succinctly stated, keep it short and don't try to be funny, it's not gonna work. So here goes. At last night's Board of Education meeting, our final one of the school year, we opened by thanking the many individuals who work for this district and made school possible this year. What they initially thought was not possible, not only became possible, but it exceeded their own expectations for what they could achieve for this school year. It was not easy or simple and took lots of work. While the benefits of hard work, believing in yourself, or having someone else believe in you are all true and well-researched, my message for you is far simpler. That is, the impact of thanking someone. And based on the speeches I've heard so far this evening, it is a lesson you all have already learned. The benefits extend beyond the individual you're thanking. It feels good to thank and acknowledge someone. So, as corny as this sounds, I would like each of you to take a second and shout out a name of someone who made you laugh or smile, supported or believed in you, or even did just one nice, kind thing over the course of this past year. Go for it, guys. Thanks. One thing that can change someone's day is saying a heartfelt thank you and letting them know that they are appreciated. So following this advice, on behalf of the entire Board of Education, I want to thank each of you. You are why we serve on the board. Seeing or hearing about an athletic competition, a musical performance, a new app, how you're serving the community, a project, podcast, debate, color war, or even how you manage Zoom school is what makes serving on this board so rewarding and worthwhile. On behalf of the Board of Education, which includes 2 members here tonight celebrating their own child's graduation, congratulations. We wish you a good summer and luck and success in wherever your journey leads.
Thank you, Rena. And for the last remarks tonight, we're going to hear from Superintendent Dr. Robert Schatz.
Pleasure of going last. This is truly a glorious moment of celebration and opportunity to refamiliarize ourselves with tradition, ritual, and rites of passage. It is hard to fully express the joy in my heart on this beautiful summer evening as we're here together on Manchester Field to honor the Mamaroneck High School class of 2021 and recognize your hard work, achievement, resilience, and success. For this moment, for you, your family, and friends, I am truly grateful. As we turn the page on the struggles and challenges of the last 16 months, by the very nature of your accomplishments, you engender a sense of hope and optimism, potential, and possibilities. The global pandemic caused us all to slow down, to question our purposes and priorities, to reassess what is important, what matters, and recalibrate by what standards we wish to live our lives moving forward. This generational shift of great magnitude came exactly at the moment when you are transitioning to the next phase of your lives, at incredible timing. Throughout this year, as we put our best foot forward, I observed and encountered an organic sense of gratitude from students and parents. Time and time again, I heard you repeatedly express your appreciation for the dedication of your teachers and administrators, beginning when you first arrived in September and up until the last moment of your color war activities. This year, the words thank you took on a special and symbolic meaning and served as a reminder that we can't take for granted what we prize, and that we must also recognize fragility and circumstances of our future. As we gather together one last time to celebrate your significant educational milestone, I would like to honor the class of 2021 by acknowledging and thanking everyone who played a big part in making this year so special. Thank you to the Board of Education for giving the administrators, teachers, and staff the chance to figure things out, to develop thoughtful learning plans, ensure the health and safety of students, and create the most effective conditions for teaching and learning. Thank you to our parents for trusting us with your children, for believing that we could meet with success, attend to their academic and emotional needs, and find some semblance of normalcy in moments of distress. Thank you to Central Office administrators for endless hours of planning and work leading the way and for guiding us forward. And to principals, assistant principals, and directors who overcame every conceivable obstacle, met all challenges, and put their energy, focus, hearts, and effort to bring learning, laughter, and joy to our schools, despite all uncertainty and pressures we faced. Thank you to the Mamaroneck Teachers Association President Janet Knight for working in partnership for the greater good of students and for balancing the health and safety of teachers, the need to bring students back to our classrooms. Thank you to Director of Facilities Steve Brugge, District Maintenance and Custodial staff who installed hundreds of air filters, organized our learning environments, cleaned our school facilities with tremendous effort and care, and did everything possible to support students and staff. Thank you to our medical and nursing staff who worked 7 days a week for 10 months, all hours to respond to COVID cases, help organize district-wide testing, and guide us safely through this pandemic. And thank you to the support staff who voluntarily assumed new responsibilities and duties to support teachers, students. Finally, and most notably, thank you to the teachers of this public school district. You reminded all of us that teaching is a profession bound by the love of children, by the thoughtful process of planning instruction, and finding creative ways to engage students in meaningful understanding. You have demonstrated incredible courage, adapted in the face of adversity, maintained a steadfast commitment to children that will never be forgotten. Thank you for all you've done for our families and students at this moment of unparalleled crisis. With thanks and gratitude, I wish all you the best in the future, class of 2021. Congratulations.
Okay, so here we are. As the principal of Mamaroneck High School, I certify that the following students have met the requirements for graduation and may receive the diplomas. First row, please stand.
Shaylee Aguilar. Matthew Agurto. Brian Albert. Amy Alvarez. Sean Andrioli. Nika Angelone. Jennifer Anthony. Bijan Anver. Clever Ardiano. Kayla Augustine. Caitlin Osili. David Barbosa. Guyon Barnes. Hannah Barone. Dulce Barrios. Geraldo Barrios. Kenny Barrios Lopez. Tristan Barrios. Daniel Becerra. Jesse Beers. Timothy Bennett. Amoya Bent. Sydney Berg. Alyssa Berger. Lorelai Bertini. Jack Betton. Avani Bala. Alina Bardwaj. Felipe Bin Lee. Bryn Bizard. Alexander Boswell. Henry Bova. Benjamin Bradley. Nicholas Brower. Zachary Bro. Sela Breen. Michael Brown. Ellie Bruce. Sophie Bulliva, being presented with her diploma by her father and Board of Education member, Paul Bulliva. Amanda Burns. Dylan Calderon, being presented with his diploma by his father, Adonis Calderon. Soleil Camp. Jack Carlin. Savannah Casher. Mia Castaneda. Caitlin Catano. Caden Chambers. DeAndre Chambers. Jacqueline Chu. Caitlin Chun. Christopher Ciula. Dana Cohen. Remy Cohen. Jonathan Cohn. Savannah Cole. Kristen Coleman. Cameron Conlon. Devlin Corrigan. Catherine Coughlin. Liam Cox. Sophie Cox. Elizabeth Coyne. Kayla Cruz. Mateo Cruz. Andre Cutler. Sebastian Cutler. Anna Dom. Mariana Day. Sophia De Chiara. Celine DeJager. Jean-Mathieu Decaux. Zoe Decker. Allison Dela. Ava Delaney. Charlie Dente. Mick Deshpande. Ryan DiCarlo. Nicolette Arden DeSico. Grace Dillon. Christopher DeVito, being presented with his diploma by his mother and Board of Education member, Gladys DeVito. Gemma Donati. Joey Dos Santos. Mary Elizabeth Dovich. Andrew Jupin. Joshua Dunford. Nicole Duran. Jennifer Echeverria. Michael Echeverria. Isaac Elias. Michael Espinoza. Avi Farkas. Jenna Feldman. Jenna Lynn Ferraro. Olivia Fink. Fiona Fitzpatrick. Vincent Fitzpatrick. Kylie Fleming. Arden Fluette. Lily Frank. Jack Freed. Adam Friedman. Matthew Friedman, being presented with his diploma by his mother, Seema Friedman. Nathan Friedman. Paul Fuller. Kiernan Gallagher. John Gardner. Olivia Gargiulo. Ella Garrett. Camilo Garza. Matthew Gensberg. Emily George. JT Jaraputo. Sarah Gill. Sidney Gervin. Danica Glassberg. Lucia Glavon. Maya Glazer. Milhen Jodenes Miranda. Gregory Gold. Casey Gomes. Christopher Gonzalez. Schaefer Gutkind. Brendan Greeny. Daniel Green. Joshua Greenberg. Cindy Groden. Dylan Guerrero. Sebastian Gio. Benjamin Gerwich. Angels Guzman Perez. Adam Hattie. Isabella Halprin. Demetrios Haralampopoulos. Maria Haralampopoulos. Anna Elliott Harrington. Hallie Hart. Callie Harwin. Margot Hayes. Aiden Hegerud. Emma Hirsch. Emily Hofstetter. Gabriella House. Hudson Hoyland. Alexander Huang. Rosalina Interiano Flores. Hannah Israel. Vincent Jacobet de Nohois. Charlotte Jennings. James Jogas. Ryan Johansson. Sarah Jonas. River Jones. Charles Caldor. Josephina Kaminsky. Jacoby Kendall. Jessica Kaplan. Jackson Karras. Owen Karpelis. Joseph Casper. Michaela Keene. Marco Ketzman. Kyle Keeling. Henry Kellerman. Nathaniel Kelly. Maya Kennedy. Molly Kiernan. Yuri Kim. Nina King. Theodore King. Noah Kingsley. Yuji Kono. Elizabeth Konopleva. Madeline Convisor. Kylie Contouris. Philip Korkulis. Gabriel Kravith. Zachary Cringdon. Jake Kroll. Daniel Lager. Ale Laziri. Jack Lambert. Anthony Laporta. Arlen Laughlin. Giup Lee. Penelope Lee. Tristan Lee. Max Leifert. Tess Lepelstadt. Alexander Levin Santalone. Jonah Levine. Evelyn Lewis. Evelyn Lewis. Maya Lewis. Amy Liao. Samantha Lima. Nishan Lin. Jacqueline Lira. Amy Liversani. Tyler Loga. Joanna Lopez Urias. McKenna Lynch. Christine Gaboret Macaspak. Bradley Magrum. Charles Miller. Mackenzie Mingio. Oh. Wait. Grant Malice. Sorry about that. I missed a page. David Maldonado. Dalen Maldonado. Iverson Maldonado. Valeria Maldonado Lopez. Gent Malushaga. Enrico Manaug. Kumari Manigault. Liam Manley. Amanda Mann. Vasily Manulidis. Catherine Marcus. Samantha Maresca. Lorena Marone. Zachary Marone. Trudy Marsalek. Rebecca Martello. Kevin Martin. Lily Matthews. Jonah McAdams. Caitlin McCauley. Nicholas McDonald. Elsa McElroy. Kay McElhenney. Ryan McIntyre. Ella McLaughlin. Neve McManus. Riley McMullen. Wilmer Mejia Carballo. Sasha Melamed. Jonathan Melgar. Leah Menacheri. Elvin Mendez. Kate Metzendorf. Ariana Miles. Now, Charles Miller. Mackenzie Mingio. Riley Moore. Jasmine Morales. McKinley Morgan. Philip Movery. Samantha Murabito. Grace Murphy. Hallie Myers. Max Myers. Louisa Nar. Max Notiff. Chelsea Nolasco. Everardo Novoa. Leah Novoselets. Nora O'Brien, being presented with her diploma by her mother, Jill Seymour. Catalina O'Dar. Christopher O'Malley. Avery Padagas. Amelia Pantigoso. Vanessa Para. Joshua Peraza. Nicholas Perciasepi. John Perez Criollo. Lily Petruzzo. Matthew Pisani. Maddie Pittman. Adrian Pietri. Justice Potus. Henry Povemba. Jordan Pryor. Taylor Pryor. Matthew Pulio. Shannon Purcell. Rebecca Correa. Daniel Quinn. Mateo Ramirez Dutre. Emily Ramsey. Charlie Randall. Andrew Rosso. Robert Razor. Lucy Rochnabel. Joshua Reck. Jeffrey Rita. Jordan Riley. Jan Reinhardtsen. Sarah Reisman. Alice Remy. Demetrios Rapoulis. Anthony Reyna. Nathaniel Reynoso. Brandy Ritter. Brooke Ritter. Christopher Rivera. Ashley Robalino. Amanda Robinson. Liam Rodriguez. Madison Rosen. Andrew Rosenfeld. Courtney Ross. Catherine Rotherham. Dylan Roy. Catherine Brudelich. Clive Rudolph. Taylor Ruthazer. Andrew Sachs. Karen Sanchez. Monami Schloss Takahashi. John Schroeder. Zachary Schwab. Yeli Sek, being presented with his diploma by his father, Amari Sek. Jamie Sadu. Caitlin Celius. Thomas Seward. Ellen Sheeker. Connor Shepard. Hugo Silmberg. Amelia Silvestro. Estella Sirkin. Natalie Sirkin. Jacinta Smith, being presented with her diploma by her mother, Jessie Dancy. Cecilia Snyder. Cole Soderland. Ariel Solano. Kate Solomon. Jamie Seropoulos. Jake Spano. Elizabeth Stepanchak. Emma Strudwick. Fiona Stewart. Sonia Subin. Sydney Susswine. Theodore Symington. Joseph Tamagna. Alexander Tan. Justin Tantillo. Luisa Tantillo. Sujay Tata. Caleb Taylor. Elisha Taylor. Elisa Terry. Sebastian Teuscher. Gabrielle Thompson. Emma Thorpe. Sophie Thorpe. Travis Tischler. Nelson Torre. Luis Torrealba Dugarte. Adriana Torres. Ludmila Trepanier. Elon Tretiak. Joseph Trucchio. Abigail Tucker. Lucas Tucker. Lynette Umer. Brittany Urrutia. Benjamin Vaccaro. Silas Valle. Sophia Van den Dysel. Joseph Van Cook. Kevin Vasquez. Mark Vecchione. Jet Vega. Alexander Verney. Brennan Vincent. Sydney Warwick. Diego Weber. Benjamin Wexler, being presented with his diploma by his mother, Laura Wexler. Claire Whitaker. Chloe Willert. Michaela Williams. Daniel Wilson. Gabriel Winter. Spencer Wolf. Simon Worth. Janaya Wright. Matthew Wright. Jessica Werple. Kayla Yan. Alexis Yepes. Mark Eucalis. Nicholas Zamora. Marianne Zapata Agreda. Amanda Zerbib. Leo Zevin. Alexandra Zisa, being presented with her diploma by her mother, Ginny Lockwood Zisa. Grant Zobel. Sarah Zarilla. And Catherine Zweigaft.
Thank you to Marcia Jenright, who spends countless hours. Yep. Give her a cheer. One of the things that we have spoken a lot about as a faculty is knowing our students and getting the names correct and the pronunciation correct is so important. So thank you, Marcia, for continuing with what we believe in until the very last moment. So now, graduates, you're going to stand up. Mackenzie, are you here? Come on up. You're going to move the tassels on your hat from your right to the left. You're going to hold on to the hats until we finish singing the alma mater, and at that point, you can throw them up in the air. I want to wish all of you an absolutely wonderful evening, and congratulations to the class of 2021. But here we go first with our alma mater. Mackenzie Minguillo is going to lead us in our alma mater.
High upon a hill commanding valley, sea, and sky, proudly stands our alma mater, stands Mamaroneck high. Mamaroneck, to thee forever we will always be. Faithful to our alma mater, hail, all hail to thee.
Congratulations to the class of 2021.